Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We are going to be chatting about primers because I am sick and tired of opening up a drawer filled with primers that I don't use, and it is time to let them go. And I actually was totally reminded of this when James did my makeup, so something really great did come from that video. I will link it below. Yesterday when I had him go and pick out a foundation for me on his own and a primer, he was calling out all of these different primers, and I was sitting here and my face to camera, I was like, seriously, I use the same three primers, I rotate them, I really don't stray from them. There's just too much makeup. There's too much makeup everywhere. It is a blessing that I get to try so much, and I'm so grateful for it. So I hate even saying oh, it's such a stress, all this makeup. I don't know. I'm having a weird thing right now. And last night I was watching Shane Dawson's video with Bunny. They have this series going on, and honestly, it really made me reflect on YouTube and what I do here. And I think everyone in the community is impacted in a way, and I just have to talk about it in this video because there's so many struggles behind the scenes, and I am very, very, very inspired to open up a little more, and I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I've always been very private about my life, but watching that, oh my gosh, you guys, it just hit me to my core. And if you guys haven't watched it, I am gonna link it below. A lot of what Bunny talks about in the beginning and just the real raw feelings that she has about not letting people down and just the stress of it all. And I feel so many of the same emotions, but it's so hard to sit down and talk about it and be totally real and not have it come off bratty or you're not grateful. It really made me wake up and walk into this room and see my cameras and all my makeup and everything that I've done over the years to build this channel, grow this channel, and be where I'm at. It's so crazy. It's gone by really fast, and I used to be just in my bedroom on a bed that you guys somehow thought was a double bed because of a mirror behind me. It was such a bad set, and I was in front of a window, awful camera, horrible lighting, didn't know how to edit, and to just see that to this, but to still feel at least for me, this is my struggle, is I feel I don't ever think I'll feel like I've made it. And part of me is happy with that, and part of me is really sad about that. And just watching that video, it made me want to get more to the center of why I make videos and what this is all about. And yes, I'm always going to be a makeup channel that's 100, but I don't know. Ooh, she's feeling really deep and wanting to jump into your arms and share all of my truths with you that might not make sense. Now we're going to talk about makeup. That was the weirdest intro. Who needs 50 primers? No one. I don't need 50 primers. You don't need 50 primers. I don't need a whole drawer filled with primers. I constantly get new ones sent to me to test the texture, to read about them, to try them out, to see how they go with my foundations, blah, 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 blah. So this will not be the last time that we talk about primers. I will not get stuck in a rut with just Tarte and Guerlain and Bobbi Brown, even though I've been there for a long while now. We all know that. So let me quickly shout out my loves. My primer loves right now are this guy right here. You all know about it. It's so disgusting, and every time I shoot an insert, I'm when are you gonna get rid of that little bit of foundation that's in there? Look, we just fixed that. I need a new one, but they have new packaging, and I don't know if it's just in my head, but I feel the newer formula is not as good as the old formula, even though the ingredients are exactly the same. I just have it stuck in my head that I want to use all of this because this is the best primer for really, really canceling out your pores, filling in your pores, and giving you a very velvety, flawless base to work with. It blurs everything. I love this. This is my #1 pore filling primer, and I have a dupe for you guys, so hold tight for that. And then you guys know I love this, which everyone wants to hardcore judge me on, but I love this. It works for me and my feeling with makeup in general, with the style of makeup that you do and everything through and through. Do what you like. If you leave the house and you feel good, great, you've achieved something important. You're being yourself. So I am being my best bougie self when I purchase my gold primer from Guerlain. I love this. It firms, it hydrates, and I think it makes my makeup last better. I feel like I have better makeup days when I use this, and I will always love. Then we have the Bobbi Brown, which James used very generously on me yesterday, half the jar. Thank you, James.
So we can be careful of the demarcation line.
This doesn't have any color in it. Oh my God, I feel like you just put a face mask on me. There is so much on my skin. But this one is really great for hydrating as well. So these are like my top 3 that I love the most. And let's talk about the things that I don't love that I'm parting ways with, and a couple of dupes. This right here from Dior, this is the Dior Forever and Everwear base. This has an SPF of 20, and this just goes on very white. Like, it's just, you go to blend it in and you feel like you went up a shade because it has that SPF, titanium dioxide, zinc kind of a thing going on. I don't know, it feels really strange to me. I liked it for a minute, and I think I got caught up in it being Dior and expensive, and I had a really hard time, like I'm admitting, I had a hard time being like, I don't like this, I want to get rid of it. I'm doing that philosophy where you like hold it and you're like, does this make me feel good feelings? And it just doesn't. I don't like it. I'm not going to use it again. So we're getting rid of this one. And then Cover FX, you guys, I think they make great primers, but when it boils down to it, I have been using these ones over here, and I'm gonna pass these along to a couple of girlfriends. So this is a great blurring primer. I just already have one that I love, so I don't need this. This is something that you need a little teeny tiny bit of. If you use too much, it will pill, and I think that's what annoyed me about this one. But it's very similar to Benefit Professional, another good primer, but I'm not really reaching for that one a ton anymore. This anti-aging primer is very silicone dimethicone based. Like, it looks like a balm, and I just don't use it anymore. I used to use this when I was mixing in my custom cover drops because it was a great way to make almost a tinted moisturizer type of a foundation. If you like that kind of a thing, this is an excellent base to work with, but I prefer hydrating and then pore filling on specific areas of my skin instead of everything universally. So I'm getting rid of that one. I have another very expensive primer that I'm just like, ugh, not worth the money. It's just not worth it to me. This is the All Hours Primer, and this also has an SPF of 18. I don't know how I feel about these primers with the SPFs in them. They make your skin have this weird thing under your makeup. Like, with the primer and this, and if you've already done your skincare, it's just too much, and I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna break out. I feel like it just makes my skin look weird, and this one was very, very liquidy and just almost made me feel like my skin was more blotchy. I didn't like the feeling or the texture, so I'm getting rid of this guy right here, even though the All Hours foundation is so good. Haven't parted with that. This just, no. All right, this is a newer one that I have been trying out, and although I kind of like it, I don't like it any more than this right here. My thought process was the texture on this was a little bit thicker, and maybe it would do some blurring as well and hydrate, and maybe it would be like my Tarte, you know, pore filling primer and the Bobbi Brown kind of joined hands, but it's not, and I have a lot of it left, and it's pretty brand new, so I'm gonna have to think about someone that wants to try this out. We have some drugstore primers right here. We have the Infallible Matte Lock, and then we have Infallible Glow Lock. Now, these are not bad. So this is not like primers that suck, primers that hate. I hate them so much, and this is not that video. This is good if you want a hydrating primer from the drugstore. It's actually a really, really good one. I just get very strange with my skincare and primers, and this, in my opinion, for me, is better. Does a similar thing. It really does hydrate. I like that about it. This one sucks the life out of me, so I think that for oilier skin, you would like this. This is the Infallible Matte Lock. If you want no oil on your face, try this out. I think you would like it. It's a very liquidy texture, so it's not thick. It's very liquid-like. You need a tiny layer, otherwise it will pill and kind of bunch. So be careful with it, but it is potent and it is available at the drugstore, and it's not 50 bucks. I have a dupe for the Tarte Pore Filling Primer that's pretty close. I've been playing around with this. I am actually wearing it today, and I like it a lot. This is from Catrice. This surprised me. This is the Prime and Fine Smoothing Primer, and it does not have anywhere near to the thickness of the Tarte Pore Filling, and it does lighten up on you. Like, you can see that lightened my hand right here. But the thing that I don't mind about that for me is I only press in a pore filling primer like right in this area here and here and here. So areas that I would typically highlight anyway. Now something like this that I'm putting everywhere all over my face that kind of gives me that weird white cast. I don't want that. It looks off in my opinion. I do like it. Again, side by side, I'm gonna go with Tarte. I just trust it more. I know what it does and it doesn't break me out. I love it. I'm gonna keep using this one, but the Catrice one is a good option. Okay, a lot of you guys want an update on the longest name for a primer ever in history. This is the Pore Perfecting Cooling Primer with Willow Herb. This is from Origins, and this one right here comes out so cooling. It's very foamy. It kind of almost crackles a little bit. It's crazy. This one is if I'm in a rush and I want to cool my face and I want to fill in some pores and lines and I want to hydrate at the same time. It's just like a very quick primer. I like it. I am not parting with this one. I still reach for it, so we're keeping that. And then, you know, James was calling out. He's like, should I use the By Terry? And it made me think, oh my gosh, I really did not use that one that much, even though I really loved it. So this is like my second chance primer. I'm gonna start playing with this one again. I almost forgot that I had it. This is a filling makeup base. It has hyaluronic acid to help erase enlarged pores and blemishes without color correction. That makes no sense to me, but what I like about this primer is it is very hydrating, but it also gets rid of shine. So it's kind of like it does both. The texture of it is so silky and nice. You do get a nice soft blurring effect. You get a hydrating effect from the hyaluronic acid kind of plumping the skin up. And then you do get a shine prevention element as well. So if you just want like an all-in-one, it is very expensive, but this is a really good primer. And I was like, I need to start using that again. I loved that last summer. This one sucked the life out of me. This is the Mattifier from Estee Lauder. It's really tricky. I have combo skin. Sometimes I get shiny in my T-zone, so I do occasionally want a primer that is going to prevent oil from coming to the surface and ruining my makeup, but sometimes an overly mattifying primer can just make you look so dry, kind of like what a liquid lip can do to your lips, where it's just like too much and you're just like, shoo, like it takes too much away, and that's what this does. Sadly, I am getting rid of this guy right here. This is newer that I'm trying out, and I've actually tried this on James. This would be a good like man's primer. If you're a man and you want to prime and you don't want to look like you're wearing any makeup, but you want that pore filling effect without any look like there's anything on the skin at all. This is from Perricone. It is the Instant Blur, and I really, really like this. I love the texture. I don't like this little guy that comes in here. I actually like using a beauty blender or my fingers, and the texture of it just kind of cancels everything out without adding a thick layer. I don't know, I'm into it. I've used it only a few times, so I need to get more acquainted, but I picked this up from Ulta, been playing around with it. I put it on James, even though he was like, please don't ever do that again to me. Like when he sat down, I was like, we need to pore prime you, and he's like, what on earth are you doing? I have the Blur Pencil from NudeStix. A lot of you guys wanna know if you don't want to prime the full face, but you want a blurring effect and you want to prevent any creasing in these smile lines, you can actually get a pencil like this, and it makes it really easy to just do this business. Go around your mouth a little bit to prevent any bleeding from your lipstick. If that's an issue for you, you can kind of go on the lines here, and it can be a nice way to prime really quickly without doing the whole face. I feel cleansed and good about myself, so thank you so much for hanging out with me while I went through everything that I'm keeping getting rid of and all of that. I also want to remind you guys that the Clarisonic code is still active. A few of you are snapping me, you are tweeting me, and you're like, hey, is it still there? I wanted to buy a gift for Mother's Day. It's still active, so I will put it in the description box below, and all of the details on a discount that will be going away very soon for Clarisonic and the Clarisonic foundation brush head attachment, that will be down below. Check it out. All right, I love you guys so much. I hope you are having a good one, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Mwah.